I'm your host, James Yoder. You are watching the Michigan Football Report here on a Monday. It is the first Monday of a road game for Michigan. They'll head to Iowa on Saturday. It's a game that I feel like Michigan should win. They're favored on the road against Iowa, but we've seen plenty of times in program history. I mean, just 2003, 2016, two times where Michigan has gone into Iowa as presumptive Big Ten favorites or co-Big Ten favorites to Ohio State, and with a shot at the national championship or a shot at the college football playoff, and come out of Iowa with a loss. So you never can, be too confident going into that game. That one's on noon. That one is on Fox's big noon kickoff again from Kinnick Stadium at 12 o'clock on Saturday. So let's take a look at our grades coming out of Saturday's game. I'm going to go through this coaching staff, Jim Harbaugh, the coordinators, all through the offense, and then finish up with the defense and the special teams. And I saw this on Saturday. I saw this on Sunday. It got really irritating. The Iowa fans, the Maryland fans just bombarding us with comments. So I want to get this video in the feed on YouTube in front of more Michigan fans. So if you're a Michigan football fan, give me a like in the video so we can get it in front of more Michigan fans who maybe don't watch the show yet, haven't yet. So we're not having to go into the comments and drowned out all the Iowa fans who are just trolling us over the last two videos. We're going to try and do a little bit different, bombard them with more Michigan fans. So if you love the Wolverines, if you're a Michigan football fan, give me a like in this video. Help get rid of the comments from the haters and losers at Iowa and Maryland. I'm going to give Jim Harbaugh a B grade for this game. 34-27 victory over the Maryland Terrapins, right? Michigan really struggled in the first half. Didn't really seem like they had much of an offensive game plan of any sort. And in a lot of ways, they were lucky to go into halftime with the lead. And I didn't really think from an offensive or defensive perspective, Michigan came in with a Jim Harbaugh or a winning game plan of any nature. So I'm going to give Jim Harbaugh a B grade from this game. Now, he has the ability. This game reminded me a lot of last year's Rutgers game was a good analogy I saw, Nebraska game. And can this game against Iowa with Penn State and Michigan State looming out there, can this upcoming game against Iowa be like last year's Wisconsin game where Michigan just feels natural, feels excited, goes in there and dominates the songs, everything that the opposing team has to pump their fan base up like they did last year at Wisconsin, like they did last year at Nebraska. But I want to know from you guys. Get down in the comments. Let me know. Grade Jim Harbaugh's performance versus Maryland on Saturday. A, B, C, D, or F. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, how you agree or disagree with me. I gave him a B grade. From the offensive coordinator perspective, Sherrone Moore, Matt Weiss. I'm giving these guys a B minus. Where they did pretty good was they came up with a game plan that was working, right? The running game was clearly working, and the passing game worked when it needed to work, right after that first turnover off the opening kickoff when they needed a touchdown late, Roman Wilson. But there were a lot of warts on this offense, on this team. And now the thing I'm thinking after 4 games is if you have 2 offensive coordinators, it's like with quarterbacks. You have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Do you have none? Are the split play calling duties, are the position coach plus coordinator duties, are they just kind of muddying up the waters here with what the offense wants to do? I think it's a reasonable question to ask because Michigan certainly has not felt like the offensive line has progressed. It doesn't seem like they're doing anything better throughout this season. Maybe even seems like they're doing things a little bit worse as we're 4 games into this season with Sherrone Moore focusing on the coaching staff, or the play calling, and trying to focus on the offensive line, and with Matt Weiss being the quarterback coach and co-OC. So I'm giving it a B minus, but I do think the offensive line has regressed. And is it because that Sherrone Moore's duties are kind of split, half with the O-line, half with being the co-offensive coordinator with Matt Weiss? It's something to be considered, something to see going up in here into the next few games into the future. Michigan's first-year defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, I am giving him a B minus in this one. Gave up 27 points to Maryland team. Michigan's secondary, a couple guys look really good, a couple guys struggled. 3 sacks in the day, but I didn't feel like the defensive line got much, if any, pressure on the quarterbacks throughout the day. There was a few hits, there was 3 sacks, but I don't think this is a terror of a Michigan defensive line like we've seen in the past. Giving up 27 points, giving up a late score to Maryland. I think this defense was caught out of position quite a few times, and I'm giving him what I have there, a B-. Yeah, B- for Jesse Minter. He, though, I think I don't want to say, I was clearly not the hot seat, but we're going to start to understand what we have from Michigan's first-year DC over the next few weeks. I believe by the end of this month, we'll know if he's Mike McDonald 2.0 or if he is a first-year coordinator struggling to get his strategy and his game plan going like we saw from Josh Gattis in his first year as Michigan's OC back in 2019. From the quarterback perspective, J.J. McCarthy gets a C+. His stats looked okay. I wouldn't call them great stats. I wouldn't call them anything to win a Heisman about. 18 of 26, 220, and 2 touchdowns. There were 3 or 4 plays in the first half that I was just like, what is he doing? Running around everywhere, running around all over the place, and then overthrew guys down the field almost every time he had a deep pass in this game. So I'm giving him a C+. To the running backs, though, I'm giving them an A. There was a fumble from C.J. Stokes. Not much depth at all throughout this one in general. But Blake Corum had the game of his career at Michigan. 30 carries, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is now, in my consideration, a leading candidate for the best running back in the country this year, maybe a Heisman candidate. He gets an A. He shadows the warts we saw from C.J. Stokes and whoever else Michigan threw out there at the running back position with Donovan Edwards out. B- to the wide receivers. I don't think Michigan's playing the right guys right now. I do think that Ronnie Bell has certainly earned his place with this team. But we're not doing enough with Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson is a speedster. He is a playmaker, and he's not getting the ball enough in his hands. Only 2 catches in this one. Why is Andrew Anthony not playing more? Why is he not overtaking Cornelius Johnson in that starting lineup? And hey, where was A.J. Henning in this game? Didn't see the field as much as I would have liked him to see. So I am giving the wide receivers a B-, no catches for A.J. Henning in the win over Maryland. Before we jump into the rest of the grades, let's take a look at the schedule for this Wolverines team. Coming up Saturday, it's Iowa, noon Eastern. That one's on Fox. Next week, it is Indiana on the road again before Michigan hosts Penn State at the Big House, which will be a maze-out game. Bye week on the 22nd before hosting Michigan State, a game I believe, from everything I've heard, will be a night game Halloween weekend on October 29th, Michigan State. So that's the upcoming slate. That's the next 4 games over the next 5 weeks with a bye game in there on October 22nd. Before we continue on grades, make sure you guys are taking advantage of the deals with our clothing provider. Look at this bad boy. See, you see it on screen? I got it right here. I told you guys I bought it. I wear it every Saturday. I wore it to the Hawaii game. I wore it Saturday for the Michigan game. The official Jordan brand tee. It's dry fit. It's awesome. It's $39.99. I agree with me. That's a little expensive for a t-shirt, but it's a better t-shirt. It's not just cotton. It's like this dry fit style material. Go get that one. Link in the comments and description. Chatsports.com/MichiganTV or Michigan T. Don't go to a game wearing an Adidas shirt or anything like that. Get the official 2022 Jordan brand shirt. And if you're going to go to the game or if you're going to watch the game on October 15th versus Penn State, Maze out. Which, if you saw last week's show, Michigan might be wearing some Maze jerseys or all Maze uniforms. Don't be wearing a blue shirt, blue jersey, blue coat that day. This hoodie is on sale for only $37.49, 40% off. Go to chatsports.com/Maze hoodie. We'll drop you on the page to buy it today. Chatsports.com/Michigan TV, chatsports.com/Michigan hoodie. Those are down in the comments and the description. Tight ends for me, folks. What a day for the tight ends from Michigan. I am giving Luke Schoonmaker an A. Oh, offensive line, I apologize. I went to tight ends. Offensive line, giving a C+. Okay? The offensive line, I believe that their injuries are certainly hurting their cohesiveness. And I also believe that the offensive coordinator, Sherrone Moore, being focused on the play calling, focused on splitting those dudes with Matt Weiss, is hurting their strategy, hurting their cohesiveness. They get a C+. If it wasn't for Zach Zinter, wasn't for Oluwatimi, then this offensive line would be an absolute shambles. They are nowhere near the offensive line we saw that won the Joe Moore Award in 2021. Bless you guys. Go ahead and grade Michigan's offensive line on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best against Maryland. I'm going to go like a 5.5, right? That's kind of in there. I know on an actual grading report scale, C is probably more like a 7.5, but I'm going to go 5.5 on this one. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below 1 through 10 on how you think this offensive line did against Maryland. Now it's the tight ends. All right, I skipped ahead of there a moment ago. Thought we were on offensive line. I thought we were on tight ends. I said offensive line, whatever it was. But I am giving these tight ends a A. Eric Gall, the starter, he is out. And this A is really all about one man and one man only. And that was the backup tight end who came in and performed admirably, and that is Luke Schoonmaker. 7 catches, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. That touchdown got the scoring going for Michigan right after the kickoff fumble on the opening kickoff. Maryland fumbles, Michigan recovers. J.J. McCarthy, the rollout, hits him over the top. Touchdown Michigan, 7-0 lead, and there was a huge touchdown for Michigan. Had they not scored that one, it could have been a much different game. They actually might have went into halftime down 7 to 10 points had Luke Schoonmaker not caught that pass from J.J. McCarthy after the fumble early on. So I'm giving the tight ends an A in this game. Michigan versus Iowa coming up on Saturday. The Wolverines head on the road to play the Hawkeyes. Go ahead and predict the score and the winner, of course, down in the comments for Michigan's first road game of the year. First guess, I'm going to go Michigan 31, Iowa 10 will be my kind of just jump in reaction. A lot of points, producer Sam says, for Iowa, I think is what he meant by that, scoring 10 points in the game. I'm going 31-10. Comment below your score prediction. Michigan at Iowa coming up on Saturday. Defensive line for me gets a B-. There was no, and I mean no, pass rush in the first half for this team. Ended up with 3 sacks. Mike Sainer still got one of them, so it's certainly not the defensive line doing a ton. Jalen Harrell had a tough game. Miley Smith pretty good. I want to see more of Iyabi. Now he's calling himself Oki. Iyabi Oki, the transfer formerly from Alabama, then a couple other schools. Love to see a little better from him. Overall, didn't see a ton from the defensive line in this game. I thought they really struggled at getting any pass rush early on. They get a B- from me. Junior Colson, Mike Barrett, that group gets a B in this game. Colson's having himself a hell of a year. Mike Barrett was everywhere we wanted him to be against Maryland and made a few plays that really impacted the ball game. But let's talk about Junior Colson here for a second. All right, he's having a hell of a season. People ask me all offseason, we put it on shows, who is Michigan's breakout star? I said, I think Junior Colson, as a sophomore, has the chance to be just like Reggie Bush. I almost said Reggie Bush. Who am I missing? Bush, Michigan. Devin Bush. I'm like, why am I forgetting his first name? Devin Bush in 2017, right? Came in that first game against Florida, was all over the place, was flying around the entire field, was all conference level in 17, All-American in 2018. That's the play I expected from Junior Colson. I think for a lot of ways, outside of forcing a bunch of turnovers, that's the play we've got for him. 13 tackles in this one. He is, along with Mike Sainristil, in my opinion, Michigan's MVP on defense so far this year. The tackling leaders versus Maryland on Saturday. Colson with 13, Mike Sainristil with 8, Mozzie Smith with 8, who could be up there for MVP with those guys. Mike Barrett with 6, and then R.J. Moten from the safety position getting 5 tackles on the game. But who is also interception for R.J. Moten? Who is your defensive MVP? Let's actually say this season. I was thinking probably maybe just for this game, but let's just say for the season so far. Who is your defensive MVP for this program? Mike Sainristil, type MS. Mozzie Smith, just go ahead and type Mozzie because he's the same initials as Mike. If it's Junior Colson, type JC. How about Mike Barrett? Type MB. I'm going to say JC right now, Junior Colson, but it's pretty dang close. Mike Sainristil having himself one hell of a season. Secondary gets an A- from me. They could have made a few plays here and there that were a little bit better. There was some soft coverage. I remember that one 4th and 1 where Mike Sainristil was 7-8 yards off the ball. But Talia Tagovailoa had around 200 yards passing. They didn't get anything deep, and Michigan held them mostly in check. The shutout they threw in the third quarter really flipped the script in this game, really turned things around. And saw freshman Will Johnson in there a bunch, Mike Sainristil, R.J. Moten, Jamon Green. He was amazing against the deep passes in the first half. I give these guys an A- in this game. Special teams, A.J. Henning called the fair catch a bunch of times at the 10-yard line. And then Jake Moody, right, missed a field goal in the first half, and that really could have hurt Michigan if it was a little bit of a closer game. Ultimately, didn't make a huge difference. but certainly we didn't see anything from the special teams that called for them to get any grade better than a C. So I'm giving the special teams for Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, a C grade in this one. The only real play they made that was game changing was falling on a fumble that they didn't force on the opening kickoff of the game. One more time, comment below, folks. Iowa, Michigan, it's in Kinnick Stadium. The Wolverines travel on the road 5 days from today to play at Iowa. I want to know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. Let me know your Michigan at Iowa score prediction. Mine, I believe, was 31-10. I said it a few moments ago. Comment yours down below. Let's see if I can get it right. Let's find out. All right, we will be back with some Michigan football rumors coming up on Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe and join us for that video. Until then, go Blue.